Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Give Me a Break podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Rob.
So in today's episode, we're going to talk about Madrid Open. And we're now sort of halfway through. The biggest news has been Alcaraz withdrawing from Madrid and also basically the entire clay season. He's out of Roland Garros. He won't be able to defend his title after last year's epic final. So, what's your view?
That's huge news for Alcaraz being out with that wrist injury. So he suffered that in Monte Carlo, didn't he? Second round match, because the seeds get a bye in their first round. But he had to withdraw in that match, derailed his whole clay court season. Hopefully, he can get fit for the grass court season and Wimbledon, especially because the grass court season is a very short window in the summer. Kind of just makes me think every tournament now until Roland Garros is kind of sinners to lose, really. But not only did Carlos Alcaraz withdraw from the Madrid Masters, Novak Djokovic did as well, didn't he? So another big name.
Yeah, that is less of a surprise. Basically, no one was expecting him to show up to Madrid. And it's also crazy to think that because there is such a wide gap between Alcaraz and Zverev, who's third in the rankings, even though Alcaraz will not be able to defend 1,000 points at Rome and 2,000 points at Roland Garros, he is still sitting comfortably in second place.
2.
Because he's got more than 7k points.
Wow. That's
like above Zverev. It's just insane.
Even losing 3,000 points, it's quite the total margin. I feel like Alcaraz is, hopefully he's not going to struggle too much to get back to fitness. Otherwise, it could be quite a long season for A, him, and B, the rest of the tour, because Sinner's just going to dominate.
I mean, now that he's out, is like an even bigger favorite at Madrid. Last episode, we talked about whether we're expecting Sinner to show up to Madrid and try to break the record, or him skipping Madrid in preparation of Rome and Roland Garros. And now I've got the answer. He is playing. So he is trying to win the first 4 Masters 1000 titles of the year. No one has done it before.
That would be crazy. And then
do you think he's going to do it?
Oh yeah. Now that Alcaraz is out of the picture, yeah, I see him winning this one. I see him winning Rome as well. Surely he's going to enter Rome. I mean, you'd think he would, because
one good
Italian
thing about Alcaraz withdrawing is that it basically guarantees that Sinner and Zverev are not meeting in the semi-final because they'll be first and second seeds. It kind of gets boring that they face each other in every semi-final. But I was going to say, I have this very wild prediction that Sinner is going to lose in the semi-final of Madrid Open.
To anyone in particular?
And
just at the semi-final stage?
I'm not even sure who he's going to play against in the semi-final. I have the feeling of his losing in the semi-final because we were debating whether he would show up to Madrid or not. And that reminds me of Nadal back in 2022 after he won Roland Garros. I remember there's a huge debate in like whether he was going to show up to Wimbledon. He won Australian, he won Roland Garros. He had the chance to chase the calendar year Grand Slam. And obviously, like people were saying, like, oh, he got a lot of injuries. The transition from clay to grass is too much at his age. And he was not going to win Wimbledon anyway because Djokovic was going to win. So I think there were more people who said, like, Nadal is going to skip Wimbledon than playing Wimbledon. And it kind of reminds me of the same situation. Like, Sinner is chasing to be the first man to win the first 4 Masters titles.
So do you think it's like a mental thing then for Sinner?
It's just like weirdly similar. And then we knew what happened at that Wimbledon. Like Nadal did show up to everyone's surprise. He made it to the semi-final, and then he had to withdraw from the semi-final because he picked up an injury
Oh,
from the quarterfinal against Fritz.
are you manifesting these parallels then?
And then he was never the same after that Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I'm not saying that Sinner will pick up an injury in Madrid and he will never be the same. Like no, but I don't know. There's a lot of similarities
A few parallels
between
to-
these two,
Yeah,
and that Nadal showing up to Wimbledon or not just kind of popped up in my mind. So I'm gonna predict that Sinner is crashing out in the semi-final. Not crashing out, but like
he'll lose in semis.
Yeah.
You reckon as of recording, his next match is in the last 16 against Cam Norrie. If he wins that, which you think he will, I think also he will. He'll face potentially the young Spanish,
Rafael Jodar.
Yes, hot commodity right now on the tour. We could talk a bit about him. He's won ATP 250 event at the start of April, Marrakesh. So that was an event I was actually looking at potentially going to, but I didn't end up doing that. He also made the semi-finals of Barcelona, where he lost to Arthur Fils. So already a good season. He's only 19 years old. From Madrid, so he's literally a hometown boy. Yeah, he's kind of just come on the radar a little bit in his first full year as a professional. I watched him against João Fonseca in the last 32 match. Exciting match, very exciting match. That was the first meeting of the two. If they play like that for all their meetings in the future, it's going to be a very exciting period of tennis that we're all going to be hopefully entertained by.
We both watched the match. The third set was not as tight as we thought.
No.
I don't know. Obviously it was great to see like Hodar winning in front of the home crowd. I'm not the biggest fan of the hype around João Fonseca. Like he's a very exciting prospect. He's got a lot of potential. The thing that annoys me is the hype around him. Like he has not reached the same level of achievement as Alcaraz or Sinner.
But yeah, there's a lot of fanfare around him, isn't there?
Like his level of hype is Sinner Alcaraz level, which is a bit insane to think about.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a very powerful forehand. I definitely know that about his game, and he goes for it a lot. So I guess he is exciting to watch in that regard. But in terms of complete game, he doesn't really warrant the amount of fanfare and that Sinner and Alcaraz garner. So, yeah, I ended up watching. Well, I watched the first sets. They were both just piling on like absolute bombs of forehand winners. It was exciting to watch. The defensive part of the game as well for each of them. You could tell they're both young teenagers. Their defense, they were just running all around the court. It was great to watch. Yeah. The match started about 11 o'clock as well, which I found, in Madrid, the Spanish crowd, that's what time life starts. That's what time they're all eating, isn't it? It's sort of 11 o'clock at night. Whereas I guess here in the UK, we're basically getting ready for bed at that time. It finished at 1 a.m. I think the scheduling needs to be looked at in that regards, because there shouldn't be a match starting at 11 p.m. at night for a Masters event.
I mean, Madrid is quite innovative. This year we have a crossover with Real Madrid where they invited some tennis players to play on the Bernabeu pitch. Bernabeu Stadium is advertised as like a multi-purpose stadium. Like they keep the grass under the ground with the fancy technologies, and like now they've transformed it into a tennis court. And then Florentino Perez, the chairman.
He was like the umpire, wasn't he?
As the umpire.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely a character and known to any football fan.
Not a very likable character.
The European football.
Yeah, not a likable character in my opinion. I think a lot of fans will agree. Yeah, what was the match that was played then? So because they set up the courts, the practice courts at the Bernabeu.
They invited Nadal, who is actually an honorary member of Real Madrid. Like, he's a big Madrid supporter.
He is, yeah.
Even though, like, in Barcelona, the court is named after him. He is actually a fan of Real Madrid. Nadal went, and then a couple of Real Madrid players, Sinner, Swiatek, Courtois.
Thibaut Courtois, the goalie.
Yeah, Courtois, the goalie, and Bellingham. I mean, I did not watch the exhibition match.
No,
I just saw the photo.
I don't think it would have been very match worthy, to be honest.
Well, I mean, everyone knows it's like just a promo.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not excited by it.
No, I don't think anyone was. But I guess it's history, quote unquote, because it's the first match being played at the Bernabeu.
I doubt it will attract any tennis fans who are not into football into like following Real Madrid just by this crossover.
Yeah.
For a football fan who knows, for a tennis fan who knows nothing about football, it's highly unlikely they're going to get into football and like, oh, now I am a Madridista, simply because they watched an exhibition match at the Bernabeu.
So was the reason for the practice courts being erected there? Is it because it's a 2-week Masters, so they need like extra facilities, or was this like a PR stunt? Do you know?
It's just Paris PR stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense because Perez just money grabbing. Yeah,
probably not even money grabbing. Like, it's just fame. He needs attention.
Yeah, and that's why we all dislike him. Going on to other things that have happened in the Madrid Masters, I did see a couple of sort of legacy Spanish players in attendance. We had David Ferrer. He was actually in the match between Fonseca and Jodar. I also saw Feliciano Lopez.
Lopez is actually tournament director.
Oh, is he? Oh, that would be why he's there then. I think I would say is the scheduling between the day and the night sessions. When I was watching the Sunday matches, they had a bit of a gap on the main court between the last day session match and the first night session match, which was Rybakina and Zheng. Rybakina ended up winning that one. So, but I did actually see that there was a line call that she was disputing. She was basically saying that the technology was wrong and it called it in and it was actually out. So more controversial moments on the electronic line calling. She kept asking the umpire to come down from the chair, but they can't do that anymore. So they're not actually allowed. The umpires aren't allowed to go and check the marks on the court like in previous years on clay court matches. So that was I was a bit disappointing that that's now a rule. But yeah, a bit of controversy on with umpires and players.
I mean, yeah, but it's replaced by Hawkeye, which is supposed to be more accurate. I'm not sure if it's a bad thing. Like,
the mark was clearly out though.
It's less entertaining, but it's probably fairer to both players. Ostapenko might not agree because she's famous for arguing with Hawkeye, like, no, this is not right. Even though they always say, like, Hawkeye on clay is not as accurate, ball mark is more accurate. Like, ball mark is subjective. Whereas Hawkeye,
yeah.
Even though, like, well, I'm not exactly sure whether the claim about its accuracy on clay is true, or to what extent is true, but at least is objective. So I can't say it's a bad thing. You can say like it's less entertaining, but
yeah, definitely less entertaining. But I also think that the whole thing with the umpires being able to come down from the chairs to have a look at the spot, and if the players are there pointing out, like Rybakina was pointing out that it was like clearly out, but it was called in. She was pointed at the mark and everything.
Rybakina did win the match from what I could see in the results session, so she is doing okay.
Yes, so it's Madrid. Arthur Rignesh. I find it funny how this happens, but he was one set down, and I think he was 5-1 up in the second set. So he ends up getting cramp in his leg, and he ends up winning the second set with cramp. He's just playing walking shots, and he's somehow winning the points. He even went for an underarm serve, a little Nick Kyrgios underarm kind of serve, which didn't actually come off, but quite funny in that regards that he's having to pull off those sort of tactics to try and win the set.
Yeah, it happens quite frequently. I remember Gael Monfils also won an epic first round Roland Garros against Baez a couple of years ago. I think it was 2024. It was an epic first round match, 5 sets. Monfils was like down 4-love in the final.
Oh.
And then he sort of like made the comeback. And then he was like barely walking, but then he somehow managed to pull off a win. When you say like a player cramping and then ended up winning, like it just reminds me of that Monfils first round.
With Rinderknecht, he ended up winning that second set, but then immediately, as soon as he won it, he just went over to his opponent and basically called it. So it's impressive to the fact that he closed out that second set and won. But yeah, playing walking tennis for a third set.
Sometimes like you just got the adrenaline, and then you just
after that changeover, he would not be able to even probably walk back onto the court.
Yeah.
So yes, that was basically the highlights of the Madrid Masters, essentially week 1 from what we saw. But there is a little check this out moment for this week. We had the London Marathon in the UK on Sunday, and in the tennis world, we had Laura Robson, former British number 1, Olympic silver medalist. She got mixed doubles with Andy Murray, the 2012 Olympics. So she actually ran the London Marathon for a charity. So her charity was Give It Your Max. So well done to Laura Robson. Her time was sub 3 hours 30 minutes, which is, to be honest, any time that you put in the London Marathon, that's just going to be fantastic in my opinion, because
that's very good.
It's a difficult thing to do.
Shorter than your average 7.6, 6.7, 7.6 Masters match.
Yeah, absolutely. Christ.
It was an impressive time.
Yeah, but there was some more impressive times as well, wasn't there, in the actual London Marathon? Did you actually see any of it?
Yes, we had the first official sub 2 hour.
That's great.
It's also kind of insane to think that on the men's side, the runner who came second ran sub 2K and ended up not winning.
Imagine being that runner the first time that happens, that first day it happens, but you're the second person to do it.
It's bizarre, but it's still like crazy achievement. I think the top 3 runners all broke the previous world record.
Damn.
Yeah, so we had 2 sub 2 hours, and the runner who came third place also broke the previous world record. A record-breaking London Marathon.
So yeah, that's basically what happened at the London Marathons. Congratulations to Laura Robson and everyone who did run the London Marathon.
Yeah, good. Check this out. Thank you, Rob. So that is the end of today's episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Next week we will have money back, and we'll have the results of Madrid Open. We'll know whether Sinner, as I wildly predicted, goes out in the semi-final or becomes the first man to win the first 4 Masters titles of the year. And we'll also have our usual Rate the Trophies section. This time, obviously, with the Madrid trophies. This will be our 4th.
What's this trophy
rating?
Yeah.
Yes. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening.